client that we're looking at today, they always rent. So it's a family fund. They buy these things, joined up money, so to speak. They plan to hold them for 20, 30 years. So they're relying on rental growth over the next 10, 20 years. Brand is really dependent on the people. Nobody really cares about the business. People care about the people in the business. And we are trying to create something that feels premium. We do know about the market, and we know what the market wants, and we know a little bit about managing them moving forward. So we're going to be doing a lot of acquisition work, and we will also be doing quite a lot of management work.
Welcome back, everyone. Episode 4 of HORDE Built Different. Today we have a very esteemed guest of ours, someone I've known for a good few years. We kind of come up the ranks a little bit in the graduate surveying world, and has recently gone out on their own, made the big move to set up their own real estate business, which we will delve into, I'm sure. But welcome back. How's life, Ollie?
Life's good. Yeah. Busy. Excuse our background noise today, if you can hear that. Life's good. Busy, and winter's arrived. Yeah.
Is that why you're in a t-shirt and a
That
jeans?
yeah.
That's
And I haven't stopped talking about shooting since we arrived.
the only thing that's good about
Guys,
winter.
who's going shooting?
My syndicate.
I'm like Bart Simpson. I've got one outfit, which to ruffle a few feathers.
That's your personal brand.
Exactly. Yeah. Scoffle baby. No, that's all right.
Welcome, James. Do you want to let's kick off with like a little bit about you, what you do, what the new business does, and we can go from there.
So as we said when we had lunch the other day, we set up BrookBank about officially 3 months ago. Realistically, we've been working on it for probably 6 months now, and what we're going to be doing is commercial agency, but better than everybody else does it.
Not the first to say that.
Not the first. Absolutely not the first.
Not the last.
Not the first, not the last. And there we are. The way we're thinking of doing it is kind of what we were just talking about before we turned the mics on. Nobody does it with a marketing angle on it. We used to do it when we were at Savills. All the big firms, so they do it really well, but they don't put that much thought into the way they actually sell and let things from a marketing perspective. So that's ideally our USP.
Commercial agency, from my experience, is lazy.
Yeah.
Floor plans
Stick it on the
rarely
market.
exist.
Yeah.
Things like that, compared to resi agency.
Yeah. And someone has to come and view. We spent so much time doing viewings with people who don't understand the space, and therefore walked in straight in and realised, actually, this is not for us. So if you get all the photos and video and you have everything properly done, and they can actually tour online or see a proper video walkthrough online before they come and view, you save everybody's time as well.
Hence you came on with your selfie stick today.
Exactly, yeah. Where's my tripod?
Yeah, because I think, like we were saying, is that in the resi space, you've kind of got that. Well, it's the whole selling sunset kind of like broker model and marketing
Great show, by the way.
marketing-led businesses like the DDREs. Is it private office? Private office,
Yeah,
isn't it?
private
office. Those guys, which are like kind of, they are luxury high end, but I think in the commercial world, like we were saying, is that there's a real gap in the market for that, because like Ollie was saying, and it'd be interesting to know why they are lazy. Why do you think they're lazy? Is it just because they don't need to go after it?
I think historically that, and commercial agency, and a bit like what we've said before with surveyors in the building surveying world, has generally been the older school generation. And I think its demographics are changing with it now, that it's an expectation where previously you didn't need to. The market has got tougher. I mean, we'll let you go on to that in a bit, James, but the market definitely has got tougher. And also I think people value their time more now. I mean, it's amazing, back in my days of commercial agency, when you're doing maybe retail, how many people don't know the difference between a square foot and a square metre? So
Really?
turn up. God, come on, what's the amount of times I've turned up to a site and they go, because we didn't used to very often do floor plans and so on, someone turns up and they go, oh, I thought it feels very small for 1,000 square foot, and you try and start explaining to someone that this is what 1,000 square foot.
They thought it was 10,000. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it may be slightly smaller and bigger stuff, but yeah, it's just there's, I think, historically been laziness and not a need to.
Yeah. I didn't do it when I was at Savills. I was very guilty of it. But also, I think the other problem is the stuff that you can sell easily to your black book of clients never goes on the market anyway. You just phone them up and you send them some floor plans, and they'll come and look at it discreetly, and they might buy it straight away. And it's laziness because, well, that's an easier deal to do, and I totally understand it. We did it, and we probably will do it. But for the stuff that's actually on the market and that you can sell properly, and where you don't know the buyer, which will sometimes happen, there's going to need to be a bit more work put into it.
Actually, as a wider business point of view, doing yourself a disjustice by not putting it out to the wider market.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Building new connections, showing the world that you're doing stuff.
It's an interesting thing, that is how much do you actually lose by doing off-market deals to your clients, and who's out there to buy it that you wouldn't have known about.
Yeah.
Are you going to be landlord or tenant focused, or not kind of really?
From a lettings perspective, only landlord focused. But from a sales and acquisition perspective, at the moment, we are almost solely acquisition focused because it's very difficult for us to compete with the black book, or not even the black book, but the reach that somebody like Savills or JLL or Knight Frank have. Whereas actually we do have just as good black book buying as those guys do. So for now, it's difficult to compete on the sales side, but we plan to.
Yeah, because I think obviously what you see up here in town, obviously London is a completely different kind of market, and there's such a more competitive landscape. But you've got a lot of businesses that really do focus in the tenant market, the occupier market. And I've always wondered if there is a gap there down in the regions to focus on
I wonder if
tenant-led stuff.
A friend of mine acquiring for tenants.
Yeah.
A friend of mine's just started a firm, just left Vale Williams and just done that in London. And that was my thought was, how does that work? How is there enough work in there?
You basically almost
occupier search, isn't it?
That's what I mean. You're basically building a sales funnel from databases, from ringing around businesses. I know we've worked with organisations in London that are focused on literally, they have a BD team of like 4 or 5 people, similar to like the office fit out guys do. They're just lease end data, CoStar data, ringing around. Oh, we see your lease coming to an end. You need 5,000 square foot. How about this, and this? And they just take a fee for the finding fee.
So it's still property agency. They're still finding
a
building.
Correct,
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah. I've actually never really understood how that market even works.
Yeah.
Really. Is there the demand though for that in the region?
Well, there must be, because I imagine the service office guy, that's how all the service offices and like your arenas, your Regis, all those guys. I imagine that's how they operate, isn't it? They just ring around, have BD teams that ring around and try and find businesses that are looking for space.
It's probably harder work than acting on landlord disposal acquisition.
It's not sexy as well, is it? Let's be honest.
It's a bit like retail, isn't it?
Especially not in London.
No.
In London, it's slightly.
Do you want this 2,000 square foot? Yeah. It's an Ando.
Funny you say that. Do you know anyone who wants us to?
Keeps your business running. Yeah.
No, good. So are you? Obviously, talk a little bit about your background. Obviously, you just mentioned Savills, and you've obviously got a business partner, Will, as well.
Yeah.
How's that going to work?
So three equal partners, but 2 of us focus property side and 1 marketing side. I don't see her as much in all the social media, but she's very, very astute on the marketing side, the stuff that I don't really know about. And then, William and I will be doing all the property work. And so in terms of our background, funnily enough, I actually replaced him at Savills about 3 years ago when he left. I then went in on a contract basis and worked for Savills. And he was at Vale Williams, as you know. We were all in the same market.
I don't know Will.
Do you not know Will?
No.
We were all in the same market. We've spent the last 10 years doing this type of work between Savills and Vale Williams. And we've got a really good network especially in Hampshire, Surrey, Sussex, Dorset. Outside of there, it's a bit tougher, but and we're growing it. But yeah, between us, he mainly focused on office lettings. So anything that's offices, he tends to deal with, and anything else in a bit of industrial, which I did when I was at Savills, and leisure or land, then I'll tend to focus on.
Nice.
So he's got the harder job at the moment.
He's got the harder job at the moment, but we're not letting any offices, so
No.
yeah.
Selling investment office stuff that can be converted, or
Yeah.
yeah,
Essentially, yeah. Well, I was just saying, out this afternoon, we're out in Crawley, Redhill, and Weybridge, looking at about 100,000 square feet of office space in total.
to
All
convert
for
to
conversion. Yeah.
That's kind of where we do a lot of work at the moment for developers. Is those home counties, those Surrey areas, those tertiary locations where the office rents aren't there anymore.
Yeah. The London commuter area.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
but the house prices are
But the house prices are. The flat market's quite hard at the moment. We just finished one in Egham for a client, 20 units, which is probably exactly what the kind of buildings you're going to look at. 80s office building.
Perfect. Yeah.
And he actually pivoted his exit because he wasn't selling them quick enough and changed it to student.
This is what you were talking about. Last one. Yeah. Okay. That was
so you get a quick exit, get an operator in there, you rent them all out, refinance, get out the deal. But
I see. Okay. Yeah.
But Egham, you've got that really strong. You've got Royal Holloway down the road. You've got that really strong student market. But that is an alternative exit people are looking at.
Oh, that's interesting. We haven't actually considered that at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think who knows what's going to come from the budget, and that's we've delved into that in the last podcast. But I think that it really depends on your position of your client. Are they going to be heavily leveraged or geared on their finance? Are they going to be able to stomach a 8, 9, 10 month sales program, or are they cash and they're going to hold, or they're going to sell at the end, and they're not hemorrhaging costs on finance while they're trying to sell them.
So how does the planning work? Once you've got your PD and you start the build, say you're 6 months in and you think, oh, actually this is not going to work, let's go student instead. Is that...
You can let a student under C3.
Oh, you can. Okay. So
as long as it's... Could you design them as like 1, 2, 3
Yeah,
pairs,
exactly.
As long as you're not going into clusters.
Yeah, okay.
So you just let them as probably... Yeah, as I don't know what they're doing on that, but historically when I've done it, you just let them as like room rental or rooms like flats for two individuals that don't want to be in a house share or a big cluster flat. So they fall under the same bracket. But it's worth, depending on what the exit is with that sort of thing, is worth looking at when you're doing the feasibility on it. Looking at student as a viability option.
Yeah,
because if you can build in cluster flats, which what I've done quite a lot of in the past, so you sort of centralise a kitchen for 6 to 8 units, and then they've just got sort of 15 to 20 square metre rooms off it with an ensuite, and I don't know, in Winchester you're getting anywhere from 180 to 250, 260 a week for them. Bills included. 51-week contracts, but Renters Reform Act that's coming in is worth looking at for student accommodation.
What does it do? Give them...
One of the keys on that is that they're removing fixed-term tenancies. So you think a student cycle...
right. Okay.
I feel like I'm doubting myself and need to fact check this now, but don't believe everything you hear on a podcast. Historically, we'd sign people into a 51-week contract. But a student's education cycle is they start in October.
That's 6 months now, isn't it?
Yeah, start in October, finish in May.
Yeah.
So the biggest complaint that we used to always have, which you can understand it from a student's perspective, was, well, hang on, I'm moving out in May, but I still want to pay rent until end of September or beginning of September. How's that fair? And we're like, well, landlord's not going to sit with an empty unit for 3 months during the summer, so that could be a challenge and one to kind of be aware of when you're looking at student.
And do you think there's enough demand for serviced accommodation in those interim periods? This is something we were looking at on a building the other day where they've got specifically, correct me if I'm wrong, C1, Is that service accommodation? C1 versus C3?
Yeah.
They've got planning. Their planning states it has to be service accommodation rather than ASTs, and I'm sure you could change that. But clearly, the vendor has done it with a view to increasing the value. So they must feel that the service accommodation demand is good enough that they don't need to worry about.
It really depends on the area, because a lot of the service stuff is if they've got a big like near a hospital or near like I don't know.
We used to do a lot in Newbury because you had Vodafone, and you'd have, and the same like with Winchester, you used to get a lot come from like Arqiva and IBM. So if you've got a really big strong employer, or like as Alex said, hospital. So like we used to buy stuff in Newbury specifically for guys who would come in contract for 3 months. They just wanted turnkey, turn up. They generally didn't like need much more than that because they were just working. So it's an option, but one that you can't now do. Back when we were doing that, we were just putting them on ASTs for a short period of time. But now again, due to legislation changes, you have to give 6 months guaranteed to someone, which then would ruin anything else. In Newbury, that was okay because
you almost can't have it both ways.
Churning, whereas in Winchester, you wouldn't want to do short term from, let's say, 1st of May, risk not being able to get your tenant out, that's your short term tenant, and then miss the student cycle. And again, it's like the working professional market. So if you look at blue collar, white collar workers in these areas where, I don't know, let's say it's 1-bed flats, what now, in Winchester, £1,000 a month, 1,200 quid.
Probably.
So you take 23, 24-year-old who's coming out of moving out from home, wants their own space, so they don't want to be a mum and dad anymore. They're earning 30 grand a year. They've got then to get a 1-bed, they would go 1,100 quid on rent, council taxes 150 quid, bills is 300 quid. So what's 30 grand a year after tax?
It's like two
grand
give it a bit or something. Yeah.
So you're 1,500 quid a month for that. So we then saw a really good opportunity for a market where you go, right, let's get really nice, professionally run shared housing that they get a decent room. They've got somewhere where you can work from home, i.e. like they've got a little pod space in the bedroom. And they were flying out just literally in that market of the guys that didn't want to be at home anymore. They actually quite liked the social element. In fact, you've got a nice centralised kitchen. You don't have to worry about your bills. You don't have to worry about cleaners. You get a cleaner come in. So all these things I think are worth, when you're looking at a wider appraisal of a development, developers are guilty of just going, let's just chuck a load of flats in it.
Yeah.
And then let's see what happens when we sell them. Put a thinking cap on a bit and look at what you've got around you, and then potentially it can work. But you've got to have good employment in the area, and also for that to work you need to have high rent. Otherwise, if someone can rent a flat for £7 quid a month, then it just doesn't really work.
Yeah, so our rule of thumb is it's got to be in a nice area, i.e. most of those towns around London and Surrey and Sussex, where you can commute to London within an hour or an hour and 15. The values are usually £450, £500 a square foot, and sales, those office buildings are usually being sold for somewhere between £80 and £150 per square foot.
So if you then convert it for
50. Convert it for 150. That was really useful hearing David's view last week.
Someone listens to the podcast.
The timing of this is perfect, because I now sound really clued up on what it costs to convert office buildings to rest.
And what types of floors are good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I can walk around this afternoon. I know all about this.
Yeah, no, it does depend. I mean, we did a project a few years ago now, but in Kingston, we renovated we actually checked. It was a purpose-built student accommodation, but it was 58 units. We added a few units, made like a roof terrace, really high-end commercial, communal areas, private dining area, cinema area. But the market there, it was all studios, so it's 63 studios. The market there is all overseas students, so mostly Chinese or Far East.
Yeah, right. I would never.
Yeah, and they will come in and pay a whole year up front. But they want the best. They want the best space. Yeah. So the development model was provide the best space.
Can't do that anymore.
And money's
money up front.
Can you not?
Can you not?
No.
And money's no object to them, it appears.
Yeah. And the only way you could make it work for the international students, because they didn't have UK guarantors, they came over with a load of cash, was to take 12 months rent up front. That was
Right.
banned. Can't do it.
How much can you take up front?
A month.
Oh,
Month
really?
and-
So it's just
and
rolling. Everything's just rolling.
5-week deposit, yeah.
Jesus, they're just
Making it
government's
harder.
just literally just set on trying to ruin anything development, aren't they? Because obviously the
Is
model.
that worse though?
Well,
It
it
might
is.
be being naive, but
Well, it's
You've got no
best-
security.
Yeah.
the rental market's so good.
Mm.
If you're in the right area, it probably doesn't make that much difference, does it?
For certain stuff, correct, but you're just losing any sense of like guarantee. I.e.,
Yeah.
okay, nothing's a guarantee, but you're Mr. Landlord, you go and buy a 3-bed house in the outskirts of Surrey. You could go, right, we've got really good tenant demand in this area. I can be a bit selective over my tenant. I don't want pets because I don't want to ruin the nice neat carpet I've just put in. That's their prerogative. Can't do that now. You've got to, if someone's got a pet, they've got the same rights as someone without a pet.
I think that's worse than the rental, than the payment option. Personally, I
Someone,
think that's a bigger problem.
or someone comes in and goes, and this could be looked at in other ways rather than just a landlord, but a consultant comes over from a different country to come and work in in the NHS, for example. Come over, 0 UK credit history, no one that can guarantee them. They would come over and go, I'm going to offer you security, Mr. Landlord, because you don't know who I am, and I'm going to give you 12 months rent up front, 6 months rent up front. Can't do that now. So you're now going to be like, well, actually, am I better off taking someone that's got a guaranteed monthly income? And quite often these guys would come over and they're on probation periods, so if it doesn't work, then they just leave. And the same with the lack of fixed term contracts. Every time a landlord has to re-let a property, they have to do a checkout report, they have to do an inventory report, they have to pay a letting agent. We used to charge 3 weeks rent for the first month. So for probably the first 6 weeks of a new tenancy, I'd say a landlord is in the negative, cost-wise. So if your tenant only stays for 6 months,
You've really lost that.
then you've got to change your tenants every 6 months. Plus, then you've probably realistically got a period of a month between a tenant moving out and a tenant moving in.
So rent's going to rise because of that, didn't it?
They are,
That
think they're gonna
because
have to,
people
Force
rents are rising because landlords are exiting the market
Yeah.
quicker than anything. That's just seeing landlords go buy to let properties, rental market goes like that in terms of numbers, rents are going to go up.
Yeah.
So it's just the knock-on effect that government don't see is that you make it harder for a landlord. People aren't going to buy to let, so they're going to go stick their money in stocks and shares.
Anything else, basically. Yeah.
Less hard, less regulatory,
Yeah.
less risk.
Yeah.
And also one of the big attractions always of the property market was capital growth. And
It's not really the case.
at the moment it's okay, but it's not what it used to be.
Yeah.
So the positivity.
Yeah. It's so much about sentiment, isn't it?
That's really good.
Around the market.
Before you've got to go and try and acquire a building. For
Oh, we'll be fine. We're so good at these. The market's not really relevant. No, but the client that we're looking at today, they always rent. So it's a family fund. They buy these things, joined up money, so to speak. They plan to hold them for 20, 30 years. So they're relying on rental growth over the next 10, 20 years.
And they'll be less affected because they've got economy to scale. A empty flat out of a portfolio of 60, 70 units doesn't hurt. The accidental landlord, or what I'd call the typical landlord that's worked hard, built up a bit of wealth backing, has got a couple £100,000 in the bank and decide to go and buy a buy-to-let development, their income, that's the ones that I'd say that really hit hard.
That's tight. The margins on that are tight, aren't they? Especially, where you've got mortgages and rates are high and
Can't offset your interest anymore.
yeah.
I mean, like, I started in lettings in 2013. That then felt really good. Ever since then, it feels like it's just got worse and worse and worse. The tenant fee ban. What did the tenant fee ban do? Put rents up.
Yeah.
Because we had to charge the landlords more because we couldn't charge the tenants a fee. Landlords go, oh, I'm being charged an extra, I don't know, put up their management fee. Okay, well, can we put the rent up a bit more? And if you listen to this as a tenant, you're not going to want to hear that, but that's just the reality of how it happens, ultimately. Anyway, before I start going around the face.
Knowledge there, mate.
Yeah, that was
Put me off guard.
renters. I didn't know I was going to learn about the renters. Was it
Reform bill.
renters reform bill today?
It's not a bill, it's actually come through.
It's done.
Passed last week or something.
You wanted to touch on, obviously, the implications on the ban of upward-only rent reviews as well, didn't you? What was your view on that?
Oh yeah, that is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. What's your thoughts? I mean, that is at build stage, isn't it? That's not.
Is it? Yeah.
I think the fallout. My view is that has come about. I was speaking to a client the other day. That has come about because all of the high end, sorry, not the high end, but like the large retailers like your River Island, your House of Frasers have all gone into administration.
Yeah.
They're moaning. They're probably lobbying into government saying, well, we can't sign up for these leases. We've got rates are really high. We've got upward only rent reviews is killing us on our costs. And I think that's kind of what's pushed it. But in terms of how an investment, and obviously you can chime in here, but how investments are modelled when you're buying a commercial office industrial unit, you're banking on that rent going up because everything else is going up.
The term is WALT, isn't it?
Yes.
You're looking at
Weighted annual, yeah.
Yeah, so you're looking at your life. An investment's value is based on its covenant strength as a key. So not having upwards only rent reviews, and in some ways you can look at it and go, okay, it from a tenant perspective, it has been unfair in the fact that if you've been in a lease for 20 years and you've got a cap and collar upwards only rent review, then you do go above market rate. And I've had it before where a landlord comes to lose a tenant and then we've got to go and put it back to the market. We're putting it at like 10-15% below what the exiting tenant is, but
you have to, otherwise there's just no demand.
Demand for it. So
and there's no point in sitting empty.
So in one way, I actually
think it's good. I think it's positive. It's easy for me to say I don't own 100
commercial units.
They're
all way above market.
Exactly. Despite wearing loafers and a gilet, I don't own any commercial units or any residential units. So, but generally that's got to be good for the market because retail rents like those that you were just talking about there will stabilise. And then presumably the other thing that will come down slightly is office rents, grade B office rents. Industrial rents are probably fine. So actually that stabilises the whole market and it might lead to a year or two of some issues for people who own the wrong kit. But I think generally, as long as you bought well, you're probably okay.
Yeah. I think you see quite a lot of... Now you saw more people doing open market rent reviews rather than upwards only, and tenants being advised by their lawyers to say don't do upwards only because you can put yourself in a basically
people
stay
have
in
still
long
been
term.
doing it, haven't they? Even though it's just being banned now.
Going forward, it's being banned. Yeah.
So I also think it's good for if you've bought those kind of lots of the deals we've done have been those C-store deals or even actually some industrial deals where they've been RPI or CPI capped and collared. Those presumably the demand for those types of units is going to go up from an investment perspective.
And
so the yields will sharpen even more on that.
Yeah, from a buyer's perspective, the stuff that has got the overinflated rents because of historical upwards only, they're going to yield on those is going to go up.
Making it cheaper.
So it's going to make it cheaper from a purchase. So
going to bring loads of office buildings to the market.
I guess it just depends whether you're sat there with 100 assets or whether you're sat there looking to buy.
Yeah. I mean, what's going to happen to High Street? So that's a good example. Offices, I think, will stabilise quite nicely. But what's going to happen we're not that far away from, say, Oxford Street, where you've got those kind of shops. Do you think rents will just go down till they stabilise and then the market will gradually push them back up again? Because retail, is there demand for those kind of shops now in those kind of locations?
I think Oxford Street, the footfall there is fine, but it's more like
That's probably about it,
a very bad example.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Shirley High Street in Southampton.
But yeah, it's even like Winchester, the High Street there, and like those towns where, you know what I mean, where arguably you're only getting, I don't know, 10%, 5% of that annual footfall in a central prime London area. I mean, those are the rents which are going to be struggling, because you're not going to get, well, and the same argument with the online retailers, isn't it now? I mean, how often do you actually go down the high street and
That's the thing,
and go shopping?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't, do you?
No, never.
Like, I hate buying off Amazon because I feel bad for not going into a shop and buying it.
Do they sell those gilets on Amazon? Probably.
That's definitely not from
Greenfields.
That's a sack special.
Mole's country store.
You can, yeah, Mole. Oh, great shop, honestly. Grade A tenant as well.
There's a certain smell to a flicker's shop like mold.
Smells like hay, doesn't it?
That's what it smells like, hay and animal disinfectant.
I quite like it.
I've got a mate who literally will just, his wardrobe is only if he can buy it from Mole Valley.
Really?
He won't.
It's like
His annual.
the check shirt and then
That sense of pride within that community of that this is how we're supposed to look, this is how we look.
That's what we're going to do. Yeah.
I suppose it's the same anywhere, isn't it? Surveying world's the same.
But I think the high because I actually saw someone yesterday who's involved with Save the High Street organisation, where they like represent local businesses and help them with business support and property stuff. And he was saying that basically the high streets need to be more experience led. You know what I mean? It's not really about shops.
Yeah.
And different types of independent retailers. They still have a place, but it's got to be you're going there because, I don't know, there's a really cool bar or there's a decent restaurant, and that's bringing people up to that area. Then
so you get all of those things in one place.
Yeah.
You have a shop and a bar and a thing to do, whatever that.
And I think that's the issue you've got at the moment in, like you say, Shirley or something, which is like not the nice end of a city or a town. It's just full of like barbers, kebab shops, vape shops. You know what I mean? No one's going to go down there just to get a vape, are they?
No.
You know what I mean? It needs to be experience led and that real mix of different types of retailers, F&B and experience led stuff. And that's where planning probably needs to come into play.
To make it easier for them to do that.
Yeah.
Is there any PD around retail to leisure use or
On Class E now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Retail, so you can go.
Oh, sorry,
With the parameters. I think the thing that
cool.
I've always had the view that high streets now, and you see it a lot, the upper parts are being converted into flats. That brings people into the high street. And as you say, they need to become a destination as a thing to do rather than a place to go and shop.
Yeah.
I rarely go into towns, but if I was going to go somewhere, it's likely that you're going to go out on a Saturday morning with your other half and you might go and get breakfast, go and have a coffee, or you're going to go out with a few mates over Christmas, go and have a few drinks or something. Am I going to go into a high street to go to Boots to buy a can of deodorant? No. I can order
Maybe a bit of mold.
Unless they sell deodorant.
I buy it off Amazon.
Yeah.
Dog musk, sheep musk.
Actually, they sell doggy deodorant. I bought some the other day after dog rolled in fox shit.
This tells you your personal brand has got some serious strength to it. Genuinely, you got to find a way to monetize and leverage it.
Take over Mole.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the high street, it becomes a place where you eat, drink, and socialise, not shop.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
and I think those office to resi conversions play a part of that as well. If you can get 100, I know they're not really spectacular flats, but if you can get 100 fairly young people in on flats and therefore young people in on those quite cheap rents, you then liven the place back up a bit. And the ones we're looking at are all near to high streets, if not on high streets. So.
And also just, I think local councils need to look at things like parking charges and so on. Because if you go into, again, if you want to go into Winchester as an example to go and have a cup of coffee, you're paying more in parking than you are to go and have it there. Whereas, which is no surprise then why people go and, I don't know, have a coffee in a farm shop or Mole Valley. I think
No, I agree.
They do massive pubs of Nescafe cheap coffee. You just go in there, take your kettle, you run off your generator out the back of your pickup truck or something.
Do you count Long Barn at Alsford as a farm shop?
Yeah.
Okay. That's my That's the
and they're an example of actually they've become a destination. You can go and have coffee.
Well, yeah.
You can walk out there. I call it an I saw you coming shop because you go in there and you walk out and spend 150 quid on a lamp that you never realised you needed.
Yeah.
A load of birthday cards but
it's the whole play. It makes you want to buy something because it's the environment more so than it is the actual products. It's
easy. It's got parking. It's free.
Yeah,
parking,
exactly. Yeah.
So the demise of the high street.
Yeah, no, I'm actually quite for that removal of those upward only rent reviews, and it's just normalise everything again and then see what happens.
Back to you, because I had a question that I didn't ask earlier.
Oh yeah, so
can you explain the name of the company?
Spotsmaster.
BrookBank.
Where it's come from?
It's a really good story actually. We made it up. Is it? No, we. What did
it's not like a backwards spelling of your names or anything.
No, we were. It's a little bit linked to what you were talking about. I can't know where you were talking about this, but you were talking about the reason you changed from Hurn to HORDE. Because if you are a name, either of your names or anything to do with your names, you stay quite small generally. And so we definitely didn't want names. We came up with a few random things that we liked the look of that made us sound much more impressive than we were, a much bigger team than we were. And it was one of the options and we settled on it.
Is there any meaning behind it, or like
none whatsoever? No.
And what's the direction of the brand? Like, what's the?
So that's what I was going to kind of come to. My view is that the name is totally irrelevant, and I was explaining this to somebody the other day. This is my version of it. Primark could sell really expensive handbags, and what are they called? Louis Vuitton could sell cheap T-shirts. But we associate the brand with the product because that's how it's always been. It's not actually anything to do with the name. So I think people get a bit caught up in that whole thing at the beginning of logo branding. As long as it's fine, you'll be okay. And then after that, I think the brand is really dependent on the people. Nobody really cares about the business. People care about the people in the business. And we are trying to create something that feels premium, but also has some kind of reach to it. So the private office and DDRE, for example, are really good at selling high-end houses. And I really like what they've done with their brand. And we want to be similarly premium in the commercial world. The thing is, the commercial world requires or focuses much more on numbers and whether investments actually work, whereas selling houses is kind of selling emotion. So it's quite a difficult thing to do, is to mix that things looking great, looking really premium, with actually the solid numbers and the knowledge behind them that we have from working in the market for years. So yeah, the plan for the brand is premium with the premium feel of resi agency with the actual understanding of surveying behind it.
I think you nailed it. It sounds premium. The BrookBank, it sounds like a premium brand.
That's what we thought. Yeah, thank you.
I think my view on the branding is like that's why we did on the HORDE journey, is that it creates an emotional response. So people see HORDE, whether they hate it or they love it. You know what I mean? If they remember it. And I think that was kind of more of our position, is like we want to kind of be remembered, because you look down the list of all your competitors and it's just names, surnames.
Well, actually, is that because it's short and sharp?
Short, sharp. It looks like a kind of...
No one knows what it means.
Yeah.
HORDE? Yeah. It's a cohesive group of people defined by a common goal.
As we found out in episode 1.
Yeah, there you go. I forgot about that. You should have that printed in your mind.
Or a group of zombies.
Or a group of old zombies, yeah.
But a lot of people don't to my point, a lot of people don't know that unless they ask.
No,
Or I might just be a bit naive on that.
no, and they don't need to know that, but that's more internal and kind of mission focused. But I think the actual branding and the logo. I know you say the name actually doesn't mean, and I kind of understand your position on that. But I think the logo and the branding around that is really important, because you need people to kind of remember that and then to spark a kind of like emotional response.
Yeah. And you want instant recognition of your brand, don't you?
Yeah.
Because, for example, if I see black and white, I actually genuinely think of HORDE pretty much straight away. And I'm sure the logo and everything is a bit more subconscious. But
Yeah.
I do think that's important.
Very good.
On that note, is that something you guys are trying to build into what you're doing? The whole,
Yeah.
I hate the word social media, but the whole marketing social media.
Yeah, part of our marketing strategy is at the moment is to really push socials. More video content is the way forward. We've done a few pieces on like regular updates on some of our larger projects where we go and just talk about the scheme and kind of give an update and stuff. But I think the push to be more like candid and just more like the stuff you're doing and like the
A
day
bit
in life.
raw.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, this is a good example of that.
yeah.
We're not. We don't have a script, do we? We don't have a. We're just sitting around talking.
Yeah.
And transparency builds trust. That's the way I'm trying to see it. So some of the stuff I'm doing, I don't know if everybody else is doing it or not, and they almost don't know if it's right or wrong. But
I think you can also put, to new customers, you can put confidence into them by them seeing and hearing a human.
yes,
And you can also get so much more content by an hour of a conversation like this than you do trying to type out LinkedIn posts.
Oh,
or
so much.
an update on a development site. I think as human nature, a lot of us get quite nervous to go behind a camera.
Yeah, I do. I found myself first time thinking, I don't know what the hell to say.
No, because we live in such a bloody judgmental society.
Yeah, but not even that. I could have a conversation with you, and we could speak totally naturally. And then as soon as I was standing there with a camera trying to explain what I was doing, I had no idea what I was talking about.
Filtered on that, yeah.
What is the plan for BrookBank? What's the
So
growth plan?
we want the type of transactions we want to be working on. Ideally, are all of the things we're viewing this afternoon. We want to be doing development-led, with some investment-focused deals, commercial deals of the bigger the lot, the better, obviously. But I think the cheapest thing we're seeing this afternoon is £3 million, because it takes the same amount of work, as you both know, to do a £500,000 deal as it does to do a £5 million deal.
Yeah, those juicy fees.
Get the fees in, yeah. And that's the thing. They're the types of things we want to be working on. Projects where we can introduce, like we are in these, and then actually also assist with the project as it goes, even if we can't give development advice or conversion advice, because that's not in our. We don't know about that kind of stuff, but we do know about the market, and we know what the market wants, and we know a little bit about managing them moving forward. So we're going to be doing a lot of acquisition work, and we will also be doing quite a lot of management work.
I think it's crucial to have that, because I've always thought that having an agency business, it's the cash flowing of it is so difficult, because you're working on a deal for a year, sometimes 6 months a year, 50-50 whether it's going to go ahead at some point, and you're not going to get paid until it's done or transacted, and there's other stakeholders involved in that, solicitors, all the legal pieces. And that's why that management piece, like if you can get some form of recurring revenue in, that's adds the real value, doesn't it?
And we've got a perfect example, because we've worked on the project the whole way. We're doing a few deals with 2 or 3 of the same people at the moment, and we are pushing as hard as we can. So if you're watching this, remember, we're pushing as hard as we can for all of that management work. And I know who I want to get to do it. But obviously we need the work before we can afford to pay the person to do it. But even if we only take a small percentage of that income, as you say, because it's regular, that's so useful for us.
And how will the management piece work if you're buying an asset for a client who's going to develop it?
We'll manage the resi.
So you'll be the managing agent on the residential block. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to focus on commercial management, but we will be doing some resi management as well. Yeah. And then from the commercial side, as I say, mostly acquisitions of 3 things. The 3 things we've done so far: big office buildings, retail investments, straightforward retail investments and land, which is we're finding harder, but we've got a couple of things in the pipeline.
Should be easier because we got 1.5 million homes to build by 20.
I know, it should be easy, but I was talking.
Deals flying around
It should
all
be
over the
flying
place.
around everywhere. But I was talking to someone, I actually mentioned your name in this conversation. I was talking to a developer who said his exact words to me were, "I'm not doing this anymore. Just finished building 5 houses in somewhere really nice in Dorset, in where the nice school is.
Oh, well, Nick Camford or something.
Yeah, there's not. It's out the other way, Sherborne.
Oh yeah.
Just finished building 5 houses in Sherborne, and just said to me, "We're not doing resi development anymore. We'll do commercial still. Really like the commercial development, but resi, we'll forget about it."
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think that those areas are really hurting. Like Bournemouth, Dorset is going through a tough time.
Oh, is that particularly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bournemouth as a city is struggling.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, just
Because I was there the other day and I was looking at something. I was looking at retail investment there, which is we might have to edit this out, but it's the building. You know the one? You've seen that floating around? And they're asking 12.5% for it.
Jesus.
And I spoke to a local agent because I'm fairly local, but I haven't actually done that many deals there. And he said to me, "I wouldn't touch that at 15%." Oh my word! How negative is the sentiment around Bournemouth that you wouldn't touch? I mean, 15%.
Briefly before we went on to this, we were talking about Dodge Whittle and
Oh, yeah.
podcast, and he's the guy that set up Bournemouth Sevens and is a bit of an advocate of Bournemouth. And he did a podcast recently with a ex-police officer in Bournemouth, and it wasn't pretty listening to.
Really? We're just so negative about the
Crime, drug issues, just the general sort of just state of the high street and the area.
really.
But when I first moved down south, I lived in Bournemouth for a year and I loved it.
Did you? Whereabouts did you live?
Do you know where the Hilton is now? So there's like a road that goes up next to the Hilton.
Okay.
So I had a flat in a little house there.
Oh, nice.
When I moved down, I first was doing my placement year as a student at Simpson Hilda. And loved it, like being in the town centre, beach after work, beers after work, dinner after work, whatever. But that was kind of like, and it was quite studenty then, and it was quite a good vibe. But now it just feels, to me, Bournemouth's like a stag and hen destination. And then the beach in like the summer is just full of like. Don't blow the piece.
Sorry, full of
Romans.
Yeah, wrong.
And obviously what's really hurt, I think, is obviously it used to be Bournemouth's a really cool place to live and it's second home territory, but the second home market's really struggling down there. It's not that well connected.
They're also putting the most ridiculous council tax proposal in on second homes.
Specifically in BCP.
Yeah, so
Because that's what brings the wealth there. If you get the holiday makers and you get the second home people that are down there for 8 weeks a year, they're the ones that are out in the town spending money, want to go to nice places. But it's not like that anymore. It's more of like
Keeping Rick Stein afloat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not like that anymore, is it? And obviously you've had the issues with Fortitudo going, and they've got 5 or 6 big schemes that are with administrators at the moment, and it's just a tough bloody market.
You buying
No, actually, well, yeah, we know the funder that's behind it.
Oh yeah,
Trying to
say that, yeah.
And they're trying to look at options to deliver them, but it's it's just difficult. It's just difficult.
And that's a little bit just on the note of Bournemouth when you say about branding. That's kind of how we're going about branding a little bit. Is we've got this South Coast where Will lives in Romsey and I live in London. South Coast and London mix. So we always tell people we're coming from opposite directions. So it looks like we're covering quite a big area, and we are.
As us.
Yeah, similar to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're actually covering a fairly big and well-heeled, quite valuable area, which I think helps as well.
I think the issue with down south as well is the connectivity. Because I travel up from Winchester, Southampton, I come up here. Winchester's good, but if you go down from Southampton, the connectivity, like South Western Railway, is so bad. If you're coming in from Reading, like I came in from Reading the other day, straight on the Elizabeth line, bang,
It's
into
so
North
good
Road.
around there. That
Like Paddington in 20
Heathrow
minutes.
the other day.
Yeah.
So good. The Elizabeth
But
line.
and you think, and even the Brighton connection now is really good.
Oh, is
The
it?
Brighton
Yeah.
into London, that's a really good route. But it's the general central south of like Bournemouth, Southampton, getting into London,
It's all quite slow.
it's just slow, and it's just not, connectivity isn't there.
Would you like to go fast? No, actually. Please put me into Ashurst and Totton so that I can
Yeah.
see what's happening.
the area.
See what's happening there on my way to London.
Yeah, it's
No offense.
But I think if you look at if you look at a lot of the other sort of seaside towns of like Great Yarmouth and those other areas which have really not deteriorated, but you know what I mean, kind of a
They've
bit.
got that reputation.
I think that's kind of where Bournemouth's going. I don't want to say it, but it's
Yeah.
it's difficult. But you've got
Southern Blackpool.
it's hard. It's hard.
When we were at Savills, we used to listen to Lucian Cook. Did you ever hear him? He's there.
Oh,
He speaks about
did he
the
go to
research.
Data Loft?
Probably. He does all the speaking.
Really, really good.
Really good speaker.
Yeah.
And he used to say to us, this sounds like a joke, but I'm being 100% serious. I have to watch what I say because I have the weight of the Savills research team and name behind me. And actually, our words can have some impact, albeit a small impact, on the sentiment of the market. That's going to be us in 2 years' time on this podcast. Where we can talk roses up or talk places down, depending on where we're building.
Tips welcome.
Yeah,
But like you say, the sites we're going to see, those are the hotspots. The Surrey,
they are. Yeah,
the North Hampshires, the Oxfordshire, the Berkshires. That
Berkshire, yeah, Reading and Staines and Slough and
Maidenhead.
Maidenhead. I know they've kind of got a bit of a sound to the name. I don't even know those places that well, but I think of maybe it's because The Office is filmed in one of them.
Slough.
Is it Slough? Yeah. But actually, they're really not, and the connectivity is so good.
God, David Brent. That's such a good series.
Yeah, I've never actually seen it, but I've just got in my head that it's in one of those.
So good. It's so hard to watch now. It's so
I watched
cringy,
that.
but
Is David Brent the guy that did that? I might sound really stupid now, but did that Afterlife, or is that a different person?
Ricky Gervais.
It's not Ricky Gervais, is it?
Are you serious?
I don't know.
His knowledge
I was
on films and
Is that
everything.
Ricky? I even got
That-
tweaked by Ricky Gervais.
I said to him
once.
the other day. I got called John Wick because of my long hair. Keanu Reeves, and he's like,
Oh, yeah, you do?
and he's like, who's Keanu Reeves?
Really? You didn't know he go? Because I can actually understand the Ricky Gervais one. As you said that, I had to think, is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it? I
But
fun
Keanu
fact.
Reeves.
About 15 years ago, my mum used to have an obsession that every Christmas we'd have a theme, so it'd be like wigs, which would actually be quite nice now, having a wig on for a day, or like face, like carrot face masks or something.
Yeah.
And I was Ricky Gervais for the day at Christmas, so I sent him a tweet, and he tweeted back saying,
Really?
"Oh Lord, just don't rob a 7-Eleven." And at the time, I didn't even know what a
Did you
7-Eleven
do
was.
that?
Had to explain it's a bit like a Tesco Express.
Did you like this? It says but better.
Someone else
In
that
almost
I said,
every way.
I can't believe I don't know who they were the other day.
You asked if I watched The Matrix, I know what.
No, there was another one, an unbelievable one that you didn't know who it was.
Is that because you just
God.
growing up in the countryside and not watched much
Watching
TV? Yeah.
No.
It's probably quite a good way to live. He's probably putting us all to shame.
No, I didn't really get into watching films until probably 5 years ago. I think it's
Okay.
undiagnosed, and everyone blames it now, ADHD, that I literally can't sit still and
yeah.
watch a film for more than about 45 minutes apart, unless it's Chalet Girl. And Chalet Girl,
Bro, what a film.
one of the best.
Unbelievable
One of the best.
film.
That
Blonde
was Family
girl.
Robinson.
The blonde girl, the ballet girl, honestly. Oh,
Stanley Robinson. That's such a.
we're gonna have to clip that bit, and I'm gonna have to split out my family group chat. They're gonna love that.
Honestly,
ballet girl
the-
reference. It's
yeah.
about that time of year as well.
I know, it gets you so ready for ski season.
That is hilarious. That's so funny. We genuinely all sit and watch that in about early November to get ready.
Your pub quiz knowledge sections are quite limited, aren't they?
Yeah, if it's about rugby or
Countryside.
even that.
Shuffle.
How many colours of shuffle?
Which type of brown is the piping on a shuffle sheet?
Yeah,
boy, I'm sorry.
trying to think what else would be quite. I'm reasonably well clued up on cricket, and I don't because I just love watching Test cricket, which is weird.
That is so weird.
like on the background.
So
Test cricket
you
being
haven't got the patience to watch a film, but you can sit there and watch the action.
yeah, test cricket's the long one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me.
Well, must be a specialist subject. Right, now we come on to our favourite part of every episode, which is a round of quick fire questions. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
One industry myth you want to bust?
That you ever need to send an email.
Like it.
This question worked for one of our guests. Rewind 30 years, would you do your career again?
Well, I'd still be more. I'd still be too.
Rewind 30 years. Would you start again?
Yeah, I'd do exactly the same thing again, actually. It's an overused thing, but I genuinely love doing deals. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Best.
When I do one.
Yeah. Best project or deal you've done?
Land sale on the Isle of Wight, because it was the first one I did after Savills, and it was one that the market turned as the deal was happening. It took about 2 years, given all the planning issues. But yeah, the market turned, and I thought it wasn't going to get done, and we pushed through. That's one where it's more everyone pushing in the right direction rather than any kind of knowledge or great thing that you've done. It's just pure get this
Grit. Yeah. Marmite, yes or no?
No.
Prefab, modular, or traditional?
Do you have definitions for each?
Traditional.
I'll let Alex answer that question. Prefab being, I guess, arrive on a lorry, or is that modular?
That is modular.
I know.
Prefabs like timber frames, sit panels.
I'm going to go traditional because I think it looks better.
Interesting. How many bricks to build a 2,000 square foot house?
14,000.
Someone's watched it.
He's watched an episode. You
I'm QS as well. It's
saw game go 40,000.
When you've been either like on a site or out doing a viewing, what's the biggest superstition you've heard about like a site?
Biggest superstition. I don't think I've ever heard one.
No.
Sorry, that's a rubbish answer, but I don't think I've ever heard.
Best bit of kit that you use today that you didn't use at the beginning of your career? Your selfie stick.
He's tripod.
Yeah. Genuinely would be a easy to use video camera.
Future of your industry in one word.
Steady. Which I think is good. Reliable.
If you weren't doing what you're doing, what would you be doing?
I would be doing something in sales. I'd probably be in recruitment. I hate sales, but I reckon I'd be in recruitment.
Sorry to hear that. What has been your biggest oh shit moment in your career?
It would be the moment the buyer pulled out of that Isle of Wight site I was talking about, because I was heavily reliant on the income from that deal, and it was all coming to me for the first time in my life. And when the buyer pulled out for the first time, you have this moment of, wait, so I've just lost how many thousands of pounds?
The heart drop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely that, yeah.
Nice.
I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing when,
So it's like David's
when I
Hagen
got
story.
that. I actually didn't get as far as that. So.
Oh, I see. You're one of those stop but didn't finish.
I had the 14,000 and raced down, and I've got it now.
Oh, well, I think wrap that up.
Yeah, we'll wrap that up.
Thank you, James.
James, thank you very much for coming in. We'll have to run it back again once you've done these office deals.
Yeah, let's
we're
do it.
delivering them as PMQS. We can have a bit of a
Yes.
we can have a bit of an on-site podcast.
Let's do it, yeah.
But where can people find you?
Instagram, YouTube, BrookBankRE.com. You'll put links to them all.
We'll put links to them all. Guys, thanks all for joining again. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.